Here's one thing we all have in common. Life's never going to go exactly as planned. You set a goal, life gives you a plot twist. You get some momentum, and suddenly you're knocked sideways. And in those moments, you're forced to decide, am I going to retreat, or is it time to regroup? I know they're not easy questions. They're confronting. They're powerful because they have the potential to unlock your next level. And I've learned that the very moments that I resisted most offered the doorways to my biggest breakthroughs. In fact, the most lasting and liberating pivots in life come from an internal upgrade, a shift toward anti-fragility, where disruption becomes fuel and pressure becomes power. I've been on a quest for empowerment and freedom for over 3 decades, and it's taken on a lot of different looks. Daily yoga practice, 10-day silent meditation retreats, to consciousness-raising groups and alternative music, to academic research and teaching. All of it potent and transformative. But my biggest breakthrough came in the most unexpected way. 18 months into a tenure-track professorship that I had spent 13 years working toward, I made a hard left. I decided to become an entrepreneur and open my coaching business. And suddenly, everything was put to the test. Not in theory, not on the meditation cushion, but in real-time, high-stake moments. A colleague of mine that I'd known since grad school and had seen me painstakingly working toward tenure straight up asked me, "What are you doing?" Looking back, I don't blame them for saying that. I was and I am a single mom. That job gave me safety and security. Giving that up probably seemed pretty reckless. So I resigned anyway. And while it was hands down the best decision I could make for myself, I'm not going to pretend it wasn't terrifying. It was. And at one point, I had $100 to my name. Talk about pressure. Yeah, things got real quick. Because entrepreneurship doesn't let you coast. It demands that you rise up and meet the moment because you're your own boss. The entrepreneurs who last and build something truly sustainable, they're the ones that get back up every single time they're knocked down. And it was in this risky new role that I leveled up, personally and professionally, in the most extraordinary ways. When you reflect on your life, where and when have you been challenged to rise to the occasion? Maybe that time for you is right now. Whether you're an entrepreneur or not doesn't matter. What matters is that moment when things get real for you. So I grew up in Southern California, and I spent a lot of beach days on my boogie board while my dad and uncle surfed. Up and down the coast of California, my dad's yellow VW bus, scouting out the perfect wave to get a ride in the tube. Have you ever seen that? When a surfer is inside the curl of a breaking wave? My cousin Bill was actually one of the first big wave riders, and he even had a centerfold in the iconic Surfer magazine. I remember watching him ride monster waves, certain that he was going to be swallowed whole. Instead, he'd come pouring out the other side, triumphant and stoked, because he'd lean into the force of the wave and it would actually carry him forward. That's anti-fragility in action. On the wave or in life, when you lean into disruption, when you let the wave crash and stay with it, you can emerge out the other side. Not just standing, but exhilarated, stronger, and more fully alive. And this is exactly why tubular, that slang term from the 80s, doesn't mean stop or danger. It means exciting or cool. All my tools, practices, and lessons did a pretty good job to prepare me to ride the wave of entrepreneurship. And that's a big break from what most of us are taught. I know it's different from what I learned early on, which was don't take risks, avoid disruption, stay comfortable, even if that means comfortably numb. Pema Chodron, Buddhist nun and American philosopher, says it beautifully. The essence of life is that it's challenging. Sometimes it is sweet, sometimes it's bitter. Sometimes your body tenses, and other times it relaxes or opens. Sometimes you got a headache, and other times you feel 100% healthy. In other words, challenges aren't the exception. They're the norm. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek into my highlight reel. My sister had brain surgery, my mentor had an aneurysm, and my first love died suddenly at the age of 28. All in a week. Right. My friend and I had a bullet blast through our car window as we road tripped our way to Vegas. And one of my favorite, my forever person, borrowed money from me and, surprise, they ghosted me. And I never heard from them again. Talk about plot twists, right? Things are going to happen that you wish would never happen. Do you think I wished or wanted for any of that? Trust me, it was not on my vision board. Your challenges are guaranteed, but your growth is optional. And this is your invitation, if you choose to accept it. Carol Dweck, psychologist at Stanford University, says, in a growth mindset, challenges are seen as exciting rather than threatening. So instead of thinking, oh, I'm going to reveal my weaknesses, you say, oh, wow, here's a chance to grow. So when life knocks into you, and oh, it will, my friend, it will, you don't bury your head in the sand or turn it another direction. You greet it. You ride that monster wave all the way to shore. That's a sign that you are alive and well. You are thriving. And maybe you've met those people who are thriving and been a little bit curious. Well, instead of asking, what do they have that I don't have? Try asking, who do they choose to be? Instead of, hey, what are they doing? Try, what do they believe to be true? Viktor Frankl, psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, put it this way: when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And I've seen this truth play out over and over again amongst the most successful, empowered, and happy people. Not just entrepreneurs. I've seen this to be true among athletes, students, parents, spouses, leaders. The humans who level up, they take on that challenge to change themselves by building from the inside out. In your hardest moments, you are called to answer the most defining questions. Who will I choose to be? What will I choose to do? Now take your time with those questions, because your answers, that's what makes life so dynamic and interesting. Because can you imagine a world in which everything goes your way all the time? I know it sounds nice, but honestly, there's no flex in that. No. I'd even say that's boring. And life is a game to be played. And like any game, it has levels. And here's what I've discovered. On our way to unlocking our full potential in life, there are 3. So let's get into it. Imagine the moment life slams into you and you hit the ground face first straight into the muck. Hi, level 1. I've spent a lot of time here over the years in survival mode, asking questions like, how did that happen? Or, why me? It's definitely not my favorite place. My client, James, was up to his eyeballs in the muck when I met him. It was rough. One disappointment, one challenge after another had him feeling resentful, frustrated, disappointed. That's what it feels like to be stuck here. But you don't have to stay here. And while James started deep in it, he chose his way forward. And you might be thinking, well, good news for James. Well, it's also good news for you, because it's proof that you don't always have to feel this way. Life doesn't always have to feel this way. So, welcome to level 2. This is where you begin to adapt and resist stress. This is resilience. And resilience isn't just about surviving. Listen, it's not that you don't fall into the muck. You will. We all do. But instead of, going down hard, it's more like a stumble at level 2. You go down softer, you rebound faster. It's when you get up and you ask, what did I learn here? And at level 2, I've learned boundaries, priorities, my non-negotiables, and things I'll never do again, like loaning money to certain people. Yeah. But I am here today talking about the real flex and my favorite place to be, level 3, antifragility, a term coined by scholar and statistician Nassim Taleb. This is where stress and tension create growth, just like in the muscles of a weightlifter. There's no failure, no fallback, just forward momentum. Here, your mindset has shifted so completely, you don't even register the thing in front of you as a problem. And no, it is not spiritual bypassing or toxic positivity, because it's not pretending that everything is perfect, or ignoring discomfort, or worse, stuffing it down only for it to erupt later. It's knowing so deeply that you are the architect of your own life that even disruption gets interpreted through the lens of possibility. Sure, something might happen. And you might even pause and say, I didn't see that one coming. But instead of struggling or spiraling, you lean in. This is how my life seriously accelerated. And James, remember him? When he said to me, Mel, when something inconvenient or challenging happens now, only serves as fuel to reach my goal, I wanted to high-five him and cry at the same time, because that is so powerful. You too can reach level 3, anti-fragility, by facing the challenges in your game of life head on. It's when you ask, how do I make the most of this opportunity? And you're grateful for that opportunity. And you will see the wave of challenge coming right at you. Or maybe you're already in the tube, fully present, steady, unshaken. You don't just know, you expect that life will never go exactly as planned. The plot twists, the disruptions, the crashing waves, they're all part of the path. And you can ride them forward. And you emerge exponentially more confident and capable than you ever imagined. That's the power of anti-fragility. Thank you.